news on the hour. Presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Monica Ricks in New York. FEMA's on the ground now in Hawaii, getting families into hotel rooms and giving them stipends for supplies. But Administrator Deanne Criswell tells us they're still working on a long-term plan.
We are working very closely with the governor to better understand all available options, whether that means longer term we bring in tiny houses or transitional housing units.
Till then, resources are pouring in from churches, charities, and celebrities like Oprah, who spent the day touring damage with survivors in Lahaina.
You seem so okay. You know, our life is a blessing. That's all we're thankful for.
The fires have killed at least 96 people, but that number is expected to rise.
Violation of Mississippi Code Section 976.
6 white former police officers in Mississippi who reportedly tortured 2 black men earlier this year have pleaded guilty to state charges. Prosecutors there say they covered up the racist assault for months. They've also pleaded guilty to federal civil rights charges. In Georgia, former President Trump could be indicted again this week. CBS's Nicole Killian.
CBS News has learned several witnesses have been subpoenaed to appear before the grand jury, including former Georgia Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan. The investigation centers on a January 2nd, 2021 phone call by then President Donald Trump seeking to potentially overturn the 2020 election.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's pushing the Senate to confirm a replacement for Chief of Naval Operations, who gave up command today.
This sweeping hold is undermining America's military readiness.
The holdup's largely thanks to Alabama's Tommy Tuberville, who's protesting the Pentagon's policy of covering travel expenses for service members seeking abortions. A former NFL player is fighting to end a conservatorship with a family in Tennessee who banked off his story at the box office. CBS's Matt Piper explains.
He was the subject of the 2009 movie The Blind Side, starring Sandra Bullock.
Do you have any place to stay tonight? Don't you dare lie to me.
She won an Oscar for the role. Now, Michael Orr says the Chewy family never actually adopted him and instead made millions thanks to the story.
Barbie's become a billion-dollar hit around the world in just 4 weeks in theaters, and now Barbie herself is getting a bigger cut of the profit.
I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies and planned choreography and a bespoke song. You should stop by.
So cool.
Yeah. Margot Robbie starred and helped produce Barbie, and she now stands to make $50 million in salary and box office bonuses. On Wall Street today, the Dow added 26 points, the Nasdaq was up 143, and the S&P was also up 25. This is CBS News.
Well, that's today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 80 degrees.